Good day, everyone. This is John Harvey Apat from BVE 311, and for today, we are going to talk about assessments for non cognitive in CPAE. But before we delve into the topic of assessments for non cognitive, let us first know the essential questions for today's session. Number one, what is the meaning of constructing assessment in values education? Two, why is it important for real life applications? And three, how do I develop assessments for non cognitive based on the learning competencies of first quarter grade 8? Okay, so to answer the question as to what is the meaning of constructing assessment, according to the book of Macmillan 2017, Classroom Assessment Principles and Practice that Enhances Student Learning and Motivation, 7th edition, in the context of values education, constructing assessment refers to the intentional creation of instruments, plans, and process to gauge non-cognitive abilities like motivation, attitudes, cooperation, responsibility, and moral conduct. These evaluations frequently incorporate rubrics, rating scales, anecdotal recordings, interview and reflective journals, in contrast to conventional academic tests that only provide right or wrong answers. According to Macmillan also, educators must make sure that assessments for disposition and attitudes are fair, dependable, and transparent in their observation and evaluation of these behaviors. Constructing assessment in values education entails matching the evaluation instruments to the goals of socio-emotional growth and character development. The process guarantees that the values being taught, such as empathy, honesty, and discipline, are not merely abstract concepts but are observable and quantifiable in classroom practices. For instance, a teacher may develop a rubric to assess students' cooperation during group activities with descriptors ranging from rarely contributes to consistently collaborates effectively. So, why is it important for us to know the importance of real life application of non cognitive skills, just like resilience, cooperation, and discipline? Because non cognitive abilities are useful outside of the classroom and have a lasting effect on students' lives just because they're important. Macmillan emphasizes that traits like cooperation, self control, and perseverance affect achievement not only in academic performance but also in relationships, the workplace, or even in the civic life. For example, cooperation promotes teamwork in professional and communal contexts, while resilience helps pupils bounce back from setbacks. Students who possess these abilities are better equipped to handle the challenges of maturity, whereas knowledge is not enough. Furthermore, the practical implementation of these abilities guarantees that values education is significant and life changing. Teachers can verify the applicability of values in real world scenarios when assessments show how students use resilience to tackle challenging assignments or how they exhibit discipline in meeting deadlines. By bridging the gap between what is taught in the classroom and what society expects, this approach aids students in internalizing values as standards for conduct in the daily life. So, how do we develop a assessment for non-cognitive skills based on the learning competencies of first quarter grade 8? So, I have here the first one based on learning competency A na isa sa isa ang mga indikasyon ng pagkakaroon ng kamalayan sa emosyon. This competency can be assessed using checklists, reflection journals, and class discussions. Before a presentation, for example, a student can be instructed to enumerate the ways in which their body responds to anxiety. Students demonstrate their awareness of their internal states by being able to name these indications, which is an essential first step in emotional control and caution. For example, the teacher could create self-assessment checklist. Halimbawa na lang nito is magbibigay ng prompt yung teacher na, for example, na itutukoy ko ang mga senyales ng aking emosyon. Halimbawa, pawis, bilis ng tibok ng puso, o kaya naman ang tono ng boses. And then afterwards, the students could like answer yes, no, or maybe. Another one is performance task, wherein a teacher could again create a performance task wherein the students could create or do the performance task. For example, gumawa ng emotion diary kung saan itinatala ng mga mag-aaral ang kanilang emosyon sa loob ng isang linggo at ang indikasyon ng bawat emosyon. The next competency is based on competency B na patutunayan na ang emosyon ay nakakatulong upang nakilala ang sarili at nakatuon ng wasto sa bawat sitwasyon. Performance-based methods including role-playing, situational analysis, or reflection writing can be used to evaluate this ability. For instance, a student might describe how their exam anxiety inspired them to put in more study time. This illustrates how emotion may inspire positive behavior and the growth of the virtues like self-control and fortitude when they are recognized. An example of this is reflective questions wherein teachers could ask or could instruct magbigay ng isang sitwasyon kung saan ang iyong nararamdamang emosyon ay nakatulong sa iyo upang gumawa ng tamang pagpapasya. Another example is peer assessment rubric wherein the teachers could instruct the students to rate how are their emotions by ratings 1 to 5, with 1 being the highest and 5 being the lowest. For example, makinig ng mabuti sa damdamin ng iba, they could rate that from 1 to 5, and then ipinapakita ang emosyon ay nakakatulong sa tamang desisyon. Again, they could rate that from 1 to 5, with 1 being the highest and 5 being the lowest. Last competency is based on learning competency C na ipapakita ang pagkilala ng emosyon. Assessment here is best done through teacher observation, peer assessment, and authentic tasks like group work, role play, or daily classroom interactions. Teachers can use rubrics to check whether the students recognize emotion and choose appropriate responses. This competency reflects maturity and emotional intelligence as students not only understand but also model appropriate emotional responses in real life context. For example, is the teacher could ask or instruct the students to have a role play task wherein the teacher could instruct that magpapagawa ang teacher ng pagsasadula sa isang sitwasyon, halimbawa pagtatalo ng mga magkakaibigan, and the teacher could observe or the class could observe how could these actions or how uh, paano nila kinilala at hinawakan ang kanilang mga emosyon. So how could they assess their emotions based on the actions that is being done? Next is the teacher observation checklist. The teacher could instruct the students to have a checklist upon their actions. So for example, nakikilala ng mga mag-aaral ang emosyon bago kumilos, so kaya naman ipinapakita ng mga mag-aaral ang maingat na paghuhusga sa pagpili ng mga salita at kilos. And we have to remember that these items are non-cognitive because they do not measure content knowledge, but rather awareness, reflection, behavior, and values application. They can be implemented through journals, rubrics, peer feedback, role-playing, and teacher observation. And that is it for the assessment for non-cognitive. I hope you have learned something and thank you for listening. Once again, this is John Harvey Apat from BDE 311.